Welcome back to my channel, where I tell you all about scary things that have happened to me. I was staying in this Airbnb in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, so I had no way of calling anybody. This was back before I started my YouTube channel, so there was no one to contact either. I didn't know if it was because of the lack of cell service or because it was in the middle of nowhere that I didn't feel like I could call the police. But honestly, I don't think it would have made any difference anyway. I was only staying in this cabin for one night, but my boyfriend and I decided to go early so that we could check out the area and kind of get some hiking in. We arrived late in the evening, and when our GPS stopped working, we just decided to follow some random dirt road until we saw a sign for the Airbnb. It wasn't very well lit, but we found the place pretty quickly and pulled in. It looked beautiful. It was a little secluded, but there were lights on inside, and the host was waiting for us at the door. She was really friendly and gave us a quick tour. It was a bit strange because she didn't ask us to put our name on a guest book, which is something that every other Airbnb has asked me to do. Usually they send me a text message with check-in instructions, or they leave a key outside for me to grab. She also said that she lived in the property next door, but if we needed anything, we could just knock on her door. Then she said, "I won't bother you guys anymore. You have a great stay." And then she left. I thought it was kind of weird that she left so soon after getting there, but I assumed that she had stuff to do. We went into the main room, and it was basically an open-concept kitchen. Living room, dining room. The TV was huge. There was a record player with tons of records. It was super cozy. And right off to the side of the kitchen was a door with a big window above it. It almost looked like a closet. I opened it, thinking that it would be a pantry. But it was just a huge walk-in closet with nothing in it except for a full-length mirror. We dropped our stuff off and went to explore the area. We hiked around and took pictures and had a nice time. And by the time that we came back, it was dark again. When we walked in, the power had gone out. Luckily, there was a big storm outside, and the host had left us candles and flashlights, so we didn't have too much trouble seeing. We got a fire going in the fireplace and sat down on the couch together. We watched a movie on the laptop while the fire was going. It was actually the perfect night in. But then I heard it. I heard what sounded like a heartbeat. It was slow and steady, and coming from right behind the wall in front of us. I told my boyfriend that I heard something, and he said that he couldn't hear anything. At first I thought that maybe it was my imagination. But then the heartbeat grew louder, and it was clear that whatever was on the other side of that wall was moving around. I felt around for the outlet so that I could turn the lights back on, but I couldn't find it in the dark. My boyfriend finally found it and flipped the switch, but nothing happened. The lights didn't turn on. "The lights are not working," I said. "And did you hear that?" "Yeah," he said. "It sounded like a dog." "Maybe there's a dog on the other side of the wall." I didn't think that it sounded like a dog, but I didn't want to worry him, so I just said, "Yeah, maybe," and tried to change the subject. We tried to ignore the noise, but it was getting louder. Whatever was on the other side of that wall was moving around, pacing back and forth. I could hear it clearly now, and it was really scaring me. I stood up and started walking around the room, trying to find another outlet, so that I could turn the light on again. But it was hard because the floorboards were squeaking, and I didn't want whatever was outside to hear me. My boyfriend followed me around the room in silence, and once I turned the light on, he looked pale. "What is that?" he whispered, pointing to the corner of the room. In the middle of the floor, outlined starkly against the white wall, was a huge black stain. It looked like a massive amount of paint had splattered against the wall and soaked through. My boyfriend and I stared at each other for a moment. I was frozen in fear, and he looked terrified. "Do you think it's blood?" he asked, his voice shaking. I didn't answer. I didn't want to break the silence. I didn't want to speak at all. I was scared that if I made a sound, whatever was out there would come in and attack us. We slowly backed away from the wall and toward the door. I kept my eyes on the splatter and my ears on the other side of the wall, listening intently for any sound. My boyfriend was silent the whole time. He didn't make a peep. He didn't even breathe. We crept to the door without making a sound, and I threw myself against it, hoping that it would close. But as soon as it touched the door frame, a loud bang echoed through the room, and the door fell to the ground. We screamed and ran for the closet. We both huddled in the corner, and I tried to catch my breath. I don't remember how long we stayed in there, but eventually the noises outside the door stopped. We didn't make a sound while we were in there. Not a peep. Not even a cough. In hindsight, I wish that I had called the police, but I was just too scared. Finally, we heard the front door open and close. The footsteps got closer and closer until we could hear them right outside the closet door. Then the doorknob started to turn. My boyfriend and I grabbed each other's hands and squeezed our eyes shut. "Hello?" a woman's voice said. "Is everything okay in here?" I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The doorknob turned again, and the door swung open. The closet light turned on, and my eyes adjusted to the brightness. The woman was standing there looking at us with concern. "Are you guys okay? I heard a big bang, and then you didn't answer me when I knocked. I was getting worried." I couldn't speak. I couldn't even look at her. I looked past her at the door, and then back at her again. I must have looked pretty scared because she frowned. "Are you sure you're okay?" she asked. "You looked really pale." I nodded and slowly stood up. I don't remember what I said. I don't remember saying anything at all. All I remember is wanting to get out of there. We walked out of the room together, and the woman kept asking me if I was sure that I was okay. I didn't answer. I just kept walking until we got to the front door. When we stepped outside, the sky had cleared and the clouds had parted. The moon was shining bright, and the stars were sparkling in the night sky. It was beautiful, peaceful, perfect. And I knew that I had to get out of there. "Thank you for checking on us," I said. "We'll see you in the morning." She seemed surprised that I was speaking now, but she smiled and waved as she walked away. She called out to us, "Have a good night," but we didn't answer. We didn't make a sound as we walked to the car. We got in and locked the doors. I refused to look back. I kept my eyes on the road ahead until we were far away. As soon as we turned onto the main road, I pulled out my phone and called my mom. I didn't care if she thought that I was being ridiculous. I needed someone to talk to. Luckily, she was happy to listen. "Mom, we gotta get out of here," I said frantically. "Gotta get out of that Airbnb." "What happened, honey?" she asked. "Did something happen?" I explained everything to her. The splatter on the wall, the heartbeat, the banging, the fact that the door had fallen off its hinges. As I was talking, I could feel myself calming down a bit, but I still wanted to get as far away from that Airbnb as possible. "I think that you should stay at my house tonight," my mom said. "Don't worry, I'm on my way." And just like that, my mom came and saved the day. We drove to her house and stayed there for the night. And ever since then, I haven't been back to that Airbnb. Every time that I drive past it, though, I can't help but wonder what was on that other side of the wall.